So speaking of Bitcoin, what about like MicroStrategy? Who, yeah, they said that they're making $500 million a day on Bitcoin. So, like companies like that, would those be good to? Because those publicly traded companies, stock.
Hmm.
So, would those be good to
Hmm.
invest in? And if so, at what price?
I think it's a good way to invest in Bitcoin in a non-direct fashion. It's been really interesting to see the Bitcoin miners not rally as much as Bitcoin has. Um, but yeah, I think I keep saying that Michael Saylor is the new Kathy Woods. So at some point, if y'all cared about Kathy, because she originated this Bitcoin institutional strategy, y'all should go send her a note and tell her thank you. But MicroStrategy is a good way to get some exposure to it. Um, I know I've gotten killed about my Square take, but if you look at some of the things Square is doing,
Yeah.
may want to keep your eyes on what Jack and them are doing. I don't know if he went and kissed the ring yet, and if he's in that inner circle, and if him and Elon are made up. But if so, Square
Yeah.
should bounce. But they've been doing pretty well. But isn't and I love Michael Saylor, but isn't 500 million a day like 140 billion dollars or something like that?
In a quarter. You talking like Amazon numbers?
Did he say 500 million a day?
That's a lot.
That's Apple's doing 94 billion a year.
That's a lot. That's a
So
lot.
maybe it was 500 a month. I don't know. Well, we'll see when the report comes out. But MicroStrategy is a good way to get exposure to Bitcoin if you can't afford it at 90 something thousand per coin for sure.
Yeah, we talked about some ETFs if you're not in Bitcoin, obviously with BlackRock over the past year, and they've done an Ethereum one as well. But yeah, when I started looking at the economy that goes around Bitcoin, obviously you've seen what Coin has done,
Hmm.
Coinbase, which is publicly traded. MicroStrategy has just been incredible. But Square, like I said, man, and we had this conversation a little earlier, but if you watch what it's doing, right, this is still a fintech company, but their commitment that they made in 2020, which at the time, even Jack Dorsey apologized for, he said, like, we're not going to continue doing this. Their
Yeah.
commitment into Bitcoin is now starting to pay off. And it's not because they're selling Bitcoin or they're trading it. It's actually because they actually sell the equipment for firms that mine it.
Yeah.
So this is another business that's being built around the economy of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin specifically, which is interesting because it plays a part in the AI development too, which is
Absolutely.
we don't even look at it, right? At the time, we were trying to figure out when we're mining Bitcoin, how can we do it faster? What are the semiconductors that can help us do it? Those semiconductors now turn into what we're going to be used to now are used for artificial intelligence, right? So when
Hmm.
we're talking about the nanometer chips, we're talking about 5, we're talking about 3. So Square has actually created the 3 nanometer mining chip for Bitcoin. And I think everybody needs to pay attention to that because that's what's going to be used very shortly. I think they created it in April of last year, but it's starting to be deployed now. And the largest Bitcoin miner, which is CORZ, Core Scientific, they're using
Hmm.
it exclusively. And so when we're watching Square, this is not just a fintech company now, right? They've changed their name to Block because of the blockchain, but we're starting to see the impact that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency specifically is having inside of his business. They're not just relying on, hey, we were a fintech company. No, cryptocurrency has its fingerprints all over this
Hmm.
company. And if you look at this chart, if you this did, and I said this the other night, there's something interesting happened over there. We're gonna watch this and study this even more closely over the next couple of months.
It's crazy to change your name to Block and get blocked out the cryptocurrency industry because Elon mad at you.
Yeah, they
Them
were getting
tech bro
beat
wars
down.
are really interesting.
Beat down. He actually came out and apologized. So now to see a year later, hey, we're gonna cut back on. I think they were trying to
Hmm.
do Web 5. They were like trying to be so far ahead and like, all right, let's just focus on this because this is
Yeah.
promising. We have something here.
Yeah, I do like the one thing I do love about Michael Saylor's strategy, though. At least he's putting his money where his mouth is, and investing heavily into it. I know Citron had the report that came out. It was interesting to see his reply. I can't wait to the reporting because I know they had some profit margin issues prior to, but I'm looking to see when this report comes out what the profit margin looks like as well. But everyone's just really redoing the Vanguard strategy. Like this Bitcoin buy Bitcoin strategy on the institutional side reminds me of Bogle's ETF and index fund strategy, just in a different sector, which has worked incredibly well for Vanguard and BlackRock and State Street. And so we are in a currency and capital war from the titans of business right now. Everybody on earth is your competition.